few minutes left before we're out of time, so I'd love to help out wherever I could. So I have another question that just came in from one of my favorite people out at Washington University in St. Louis about barcode reader. And I think that we have not had much experience in that. There are a lot of native applications that work there. And I think the use case is still trying to be figured out as to how to use those barcode readers on the phones. Certainly, you know, there can be an integration with a lot of different systems. You know, there's been talk about doing things like allowing a person with that barcode reader to pay for food at like a food court or something. And I know that the iPhone has been testing that pretty heavily right now, and there's talk that the next iPhone that'll be released will have a lot more of this built into it. So I'm not sure there's a good answer for that right now. It's just one of those things that it's wait and see what happens. Of course, a lot of it's going to be what are people going to use it for, and how are they going to protect themselves against, you know, if they lose their phone or something, can somebody else, you know, it's one thing if they get your contacts, it's another thing if they can all of a sudden go out and buy a Mercedes on your iPhone. So we want to make sure that we're really careful about those types of things, and I don't think the verdict is in yet as to how that's going to be handled. Oh, and so they want some clarification about the little box on advertising. And again, I think that that's the little square box. Many people have seen that. They'll see an ad, and there'll be a little kind of UPS-looking square barcode that you can scan with your phone, and that gives you more information. I think that's where we would talk about integrating in third-party applications. Certainly, that's not something you want to build from scratch. There's lots of native apps out there that actually work that way, and the goal would be, I guess, if you want to be able to scan something and possibly you can have it so that on a walking tour, for example, these things are located throughout. You make a little scan, and you know there's artwork or sculptures or something, and it gives information. It pulls it right up, and so there's a lot of possibilities that you can do there. We would want to look at what exists out there now as sort of the third-party apps that we can integrate in with a solution. It's a great question, though. You're welcome. What the reason for the search function? Well, we have a question here about the search on the app that you showed and how it works on the phone. I think that, you know, what we've been able to do when we built this is to tag the content so that you can actually search. You can do a local search for particular content by using the search bar. And so, you know, I think the purpose of that was to let somebody jump ahead very quickly to what they were looking for. In the case of the Cornell Johnson School, they have 4 different MBA programs, and they really market and advertise them very differently. There's a full-time program in Ithaca. They have something called the Cornell Queens College, which is in like 14 different cities around the country and in Canada. And so it allows you to quickly jump. Maybe I hear an advertisement for Cornell Queens, and I can just go in there and type in Cornell Queens, and that's going to pull me to that page on the mobile site, which will then eventually push me off to the full site. And so that's kind of how we were able to do that. It's not as robust as you might find search on a regular website, but we wanted to be able to at least allow it to have limited functionality because we felt that because of the number of programs that they had, to be able to give someone an opportunity to keyword search was probably be a good idea. So it looks like it's Q2, and we are kind of out of time at this point. So unless there's any other questions, I'm going to end the webinar. And I look forward to any individual contact. If you want to email me directly and ask me questions or set up a time to talk, we're happy to do that. And of course, we'd love to talk to you about any projects that you might have. So thanks, everybody. And unless there's any more questions, I think we're going to end the webinar at this point.